Hey everyone, welcome back to Citywide Bytes. I'm your host, Max Bowen. In this episode, I'm talking with blues artist Crystal Shawanda for her recent album release, Sing Pretty Blues. This is an amazing collection of music, but it's also a nominee in the 2026 JUNO Awards for Blues Album of the Year. We're going to talk all about this, the stories behind the music, how it feels to be a nominee, and get a look at some music to come. Enjoy. All right. So, Crystal, I want to say first off, thanks for joining us. It's really great to have you on the show. I was listening to Just Sing Pretty Blues prior to this, and what an absolutely amazing album this is. This is such a great collection of music.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And of course, that alone would give us enough to talk about. But there's also the big news that you are a Juno Award nominee for Blues Album of the Year for Sing Pretty Blues. Now, this is not your first time with the Juno Awards. You are a past award winner, multiple time nominee. But even so, how does it feel to get this news that your album is now considered the top of the blues field?
Oh, I'm so grateful. I'm excited about it every single time I get nominated. I never take it for granted because you never know what's going to happen, and there were so many great blues albums this past year. Quite honestly, I was very shocked that I got in. The night before they announced the awards, I actually went to bed really, really late because I wanted to sleep in because I didn't want to sit there with the anxiety of wondering, are we going to get nominated? Because, of course we're going to hope for it. And then in the morning, my husband woke me up. He's like, wake up, you just got nominated for a Juno Award for Blues Album of the Year. And I was like, oh my God, I screamed and then I cried because, we went through so many changes the past couple years. My longtime manager agent, Rob Patty, passed away, who I was with for 14 years, which is like a lifetime in the music business. And then the head of the label that I was with decided to retire. So we released this album on my own record company, New Sun Music. So to get this nomination was like going through an invisible finish line. It's like, we did it.
Wow. That is a lot. That is a lot to just to go through, and I'm really really sorry for your loss.
Thank
Um,
you.
how would you say though in the past few years, your last album being Midnight Blues, how would you say that you've kind of changed as an artist, or how's your music changed? Do you feel?
I think I'm getting into a place where I'm more comfortable in my own skin. I started out my career as a country music singer, and then several years of 2015, I switched over to blues music. And then, I think in the beginning, I was trying to prove how blues I was because, I had some folks who were like, you're a country music singer, get out of here, go back to country music. And I was like trying to like defend myself. No, I really want to sing blues music. I know I was born to sing blues music. So in the beginning, I was really trying to prove that. And now through the years, I'm forging my own lane and creating my own space, of blues and Southern country soul. And so I think this album really embraces all the parts of me, and because I hate to leave any part of me behind, and I grew up in a house where we were influenced by all styles of music. So I think it really comes out in this album where I'm embracing that.
I love how you're just like commitment to the blues was like when people say you're country, you're like, no, I'm blues. I'll show you.
Exactly. I tend to be that way.
That, I think a very, very good trait as an artist is to kind of stick to your guns. So what about the blues do you feel is you as an artist?
I feel like I can just be more myself. You know, um, it's more raw and real, and it doesn't hold back at all. Like when I was singing country music, I felt like I was trying to fit into this little box, and my voice, in the studio constantly, the producer was always telling me, hold back, let's not do so many high notes. Let's less trills, less rasp. Because I can turn the rasp on and off. And so he's like, let's have less of that rasp and more cleaner tones for radio, that type of thing. Whereas with blues music, I just let it fly. It's like letting a bird out of a cage. I don't have to hold back. I can do all these cool things that I'm able to do with my voice, I can just do them and I don't have to hide them anymore. So that's what I love about singing blues music. I think the fact that I feel so comfortable in it means that I was born to sing blues music.
Oh yeah, yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, I was listening to the album this morning, and "Preaching Blues," which is the first track. What a powerhouse song that is! You just come right out the gate, and I definitely can hear that like cutting loose and being free. Um, would you say this is a big difference from like past album releases? Do you feel like you're like cutting loose a little more with this one?
I think, I think that part, like, because in the beginning, like I said, I was trying to prove how blues I was. So I did a lot of big vocal songs like that in the beginning. So I think that starting the album off with Preaching Blues with that type of vocal was basically a continuation of what I've been doing, letting people know that, yes, you're going to hear some songs that are a little more country soul, but make no mistake, this is a blues album, and I am still a blues singer, very much so.
All right. I want to go back a bit to the Juno Awards. For those of us who are not familiar, what are the Juno Awards, and what does it mean to get to just to be nominated for one of them?
So the Juno Awards are basically the Canadian Grammys. They are the biggest award show in Canada, all styles, all genres. And, it's the biggest night in Canada for music. And so to be nominated, to be in the company of, all my peers at those awards, it's like saying, okay, you guys see the work that we're doing. And it's encouraging. So when I do get nominated, I feel like I'm being allowed to have this little slice of the pie, and I'm so grateful for it. So, I grew up watching the Juno Awards ever since I was a little kid. So it's a big deal for me, and then also I was also nominated for 3 Canadian Blues Music Awards as well. And so that's a new award show up in Canada, as the Canadian Blues Music Awards. So yeah, it's very exciting.
Very cool. So hopefully you'll get to add multiple award-winning artists to your title after this.
Yes, absolutely. That would be pretty incredible. But at this point, like, I'm just grateful to still be here singing.
Yeah, yeah, because you've been doing this for a little while now, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's actually all I've ever done. I started singing as soon as I can make noise. I jumped on stage when I was 6 years old, and I started actually getting paid to sing when I was 10 years old. So and I was like, whoa, I could get paid to do this. And that was it. I never looked back. I dabbled in other things like theater and traveling with the theater company. And then when I first moved to Nashville, I did a few odd jobs, but mostly I did busking and singing for tips down on Broadway. And so, yeah, music has always been my thing. I've always said it's the only thing I'm good at. So I have to do this.
That that is a very great that is a very great mentality. I like that. What would you say has kept you in music for for all these years?
Definitely my faith. And, music is my therapy. It always has been since I was a kid, growing up as an indigenous person on in, a reservation. I grew up around a lot of intergenerational trauma, and I was growing up in a family, in a community that was trying very hard to heal from it. And so I was very aware of sadness, and so I was actually diagnosed with depression when I was like 11 years old, which is very young, because I was such an empath. I was always absorbing the sadness around me. And so music was how I coped. My mom was the one who showed me that music can be a release. You can listen to your favorite songs, you can connect with them, relate to them, and understand that you're not alone. You're not the only one going through something like this. And if that person can get through it to sing about it, then and they're okay, then you're going to be okay too. And so songwriting became that release as well. Songwriting and singing, that's how I get through and cope with the life around me. It's how I've always done it. And so, I needed to survive. And no matter what's going on in my life, I always come back to it again and again. Like some of the songs, like one of the songs on the album is called Changes. It's a Black Sabbath cover. That's a perfect example of, I had a couple deaths this past year. A dear friend of mine passed away, and also my nephew overdosed. And so that was a song that I kept coming back to again and again, just singing along to because it helped me. It helped me through the grieving process. So I think that's what keeps me in in the music world so much is just I need it very much so to survive.
Crystal, I'm really, really sorry to hear about this. I'm very sorry about this.
Thank you.
Um, so you mentioned earlier about how music kind of helps you with the grieving process. Do you feel it helps you to also kind of express yourself more than you would with just like a casual conversation?
Yes, absolutely. I'm so awkward when I'm trying to talk to people. And, sometimes it's hard for me to make connections. I either, share too much or share too little. And, but music is how, I wear my heart on my sleeve when I'm singing a song. And when I sing those songs on stage, you can feel that emotion coming through, the passion coming through, that I mean every word. So every song that I record, whether I write it or somebody else wrote it, I'm singing it because I connect with it and it's something that I want to say.
Okay. All right. I do want to ask more about your new album, Sing Pretty Blues. What are some of the themes or the stories behind the songs?
This album, there's definitely a commonality of strength and resilience. And then, but yet it's also about having the courage to try to find joy in your life again after you go through so much. It's this reminder that we're allowed to feel more than two things at a time and two different emotions at the same time. And it's really about embracing all the parts of ourselves, even the ones that aren't so pretty.
Hmm. Is there one particular song that you feel really um, sums you up as a person?
Yeah, definitely the title track of the album, Sing Pretty Blues, for
You are ready
sure.
with that. I love that.
For sure. This was a song I wrote with my husband, Dewayne Strobel, who also produced, mixed, engineered, and played all the guitars on the album. And we wrote this song after a conversation I had with a photographer. I was actually coming off stage. I just finished a show, and he was like, "Oh, amazing show, Crystal. I think I got a good shot of you, but I'm not really sure because you don't really sing pretty." And I decided to take it as a compliment, which is something I'm really good at. And because he's right, I don't sing pretty. I work way too hard to be singing pretty. Whether I'm in the studio or I'm on stage, I'm literally singing my heart out. I'm singing my guts out. I always scrunch my face up and make the most weirdest faces, because I don't care what I look like, because it's not just a show, with every song that I sing, I'm healing a different part of myself, and healing is not always pretty. So we wanted to write this song and record it to try to encourage other people to embrace all the parts of themselves, even the ones that aren't so pretty. And then, as a little cherry on top, we got our daughter Shawanda to sing backgrounds on the song with me. And because that's a message that I want her to know growing up, is that she should embrace all the parts about herself and never shrink any part of herself away.
All right. All right. Now, since we're talking about your performances, we got to talk about your upcoming performance. You're going to be at the Wiregrass Blues Festival. That is on March 21st, so just about a week away. Um, Tell me about this festival, how you became involved with it.
I was I've been very fortunate to have some great support from this area. The awesome Gil Anthony has been such a dear friend of mine. Has been so supportive with playing my music straight from the beginning. And we've become friends. We've gone down there to do blues in schools presentations with him and in the area schools. And so that's how I got there. And we've attended before. It's just a lot of fun. It's a great community. People come together and they put this festival on. And it's just a real appreciation for blues music. And, Gil Anthony is also the one who actually took me to be a part of them honoring Big Mama Thornton. As she is originally from that close to that area. And so there's a lot of history there, a lot of community, and a big love for blues music. So we're excited to be a part of it and to come and celebrate blues music with everyone at this festival.
For those who have not seen you perform live before, how would you describe a Crystal Shawanda show?
It's a very high energy, emotional roller coaster. If I do my job right, you will You will laugh, you will cry, you will dance, and then you will leave like you feeling like you just had a great therapy session.
I like
That's
that.
that's the goal. But mainly it's a lot of fun. There are a couple moments where you might shed a few tears, but they're good tears. You need to shed those tears, and then we just dance it out after. And that's what, blues music is all about, is about releasing all the bad stuff so we could feel all the good stuff.
Think now I want to be making myself a road trip up to Canada to see this show. This sounds like a lot of fun. I also saw that you have another festival. This is the Nanaimo Blues Festival later on in August. When it comes though to booking your shows, do you do this stuff yourself, or do you have a team that you kind of work with?
Right now we are kind of doing a lot of it ourselves. I am working with a few different booking agents, but nothing permanent. After my longtime agent passed away, we've been kind of dating and trying out a few different agents. It's really hard though to book me because, I mean, not to book me, but to be organized enough because I'm a unique artist, right? So I'm a blues music artist. So somebody has to know the blues world and how to book in the blues world. But I also have a history of like country music. So somebody could also book me at Americana festivals and folk festivals, which I play a lot of folk festivals as well. So my show and who I am as an artist can interchange between those. But also I'm an Indigenous artist. So there are Indigenous festivals out there, Indigenous events, Indigenous communities who are always putting on events. So I have to have somebody who can talk to folks who are not used to booking artists at big events. So if somebody sends them this big long contract, this little organizer who just got this job to organize a community event at an Indigenous reservation, they're going to look at this big contract. They're going to go, "What is this?" So right now, my main agent is my husband. So I've been telling him, just answer the phone and just post your phone number up because at this point, like I said, we've tried a few agents out, and we've gotten calls from people who are like, "I tried to call your agent and they wouldn't call me back," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's a problem." so
It's
so we're kind of doing a hands-on approach right now, out of necessity. We kind of have to, but in the end, this is turning out to be one of our busiest years, and we're not even done booking yet. So it might be working out in our favor to just do it ourselves right now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, because like you know yourself best, like you know the kind of places
Absolutely.
you want to play, the venues, the festivals, the people. So that can be really helpful to just say, you know what, I'll just like do it myself, make it simpler.
For
Um,
sure. And then also we travel with our daughter. Our daughter is 9 years old and she is also in our show. She sings backgrounds and plays tambourine. So, wherever we play, it has to be a place that is okay with kids. That's the main thing for me.
that is so cool that your daughter plays with you. I love that. It is amazing.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to look to my side and there's my husband playing guitar. There's my daughter singing and dancing her heart out. It's literally living the dream.
I'll bet. Now, one thing I want to ask you about was I read that your last album, I believe, Midnight Blues, made you the first Indigenous woman to appear in the top 10 of the American Billboard Blues chart when this album released and when it debuted at number 8. This accomplishment certainly very, very big. What would you say it means for the Indigenous community that you're on this chart now?
I don't I don't know if anybody notices, the work that I'm doing or how hard it is to get into these spaces. But I think it is important work, because growing up myself, I didn't see anybody that looked like me singing on the radio singing the songs on the radio that I love so much. And I noticed and it bothered me, representation really does matter. So it's always been a mission of mine since I was a kid to try to go into these spaces that we have never been in before because I want to inspire future Indigenous artists and youth to know as they're growing up, or our people who are out there working at it today, to know that it is possible. You can get into these spaces and to never give up, to keep dreaming and keep believing it's possible for you to reach those heights. And to inspire other people to keep going at it. So, my career, I had great success in country music. Then I came over to blues and had this great success. And so it's just to show that, even when we change directions in our dreams, that we can still reach these goals and still make accomplishments. And, as we age, to never give up on yourself. There's no stopping time. There's no time limit. If you don't give up on yourself and you work hard and you keep pushing, there's still going to be space for you.
Oh, absolutely. And I think to anyone who thinks that they're too old to do this, no way. I mean, I know
No,
a New York Times bestseller who started at 48. So it's
right.
never, never too late. Now the guy has like multiple New York Times bestselling books. He's got like Netflix deals. Jonathan Mayberry's his name. Check him out.
Right.
So it's never too late to start
Right.
this like new thing in your life or to stop, really.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, Crystal. Well, we are coming down to the end of this conversation, but to wrap things up, what is next for you?
Well, actually, right now we're already working on a new album. It's over halfway done. We took a little time off the road this past winter so that we could learn how to be home because we've been road warriors forever. And our daughter is getting older, and we want her to know what it's like to be home. And she's also attending an arts academy. So she's attending all these dance classes. And so we want to make that a priority. So we've been off the road a little bit, so we utilize this time and we've just been in the studio recording. And this new album is definitely going to be a blues music album, but it's again embracing all the parts of me where it has that Southern country soul. And there'll be some interesting covers, which is something I love to do on every album. And so we're excited about it. It's going to come out later this year. I'm not sure of the date yet, but I think we're going to be putting out our first single late spring, definitely before summer. So we're very excited.
That sounds amazing, and I absolutely cannot wait to hear this one. So, Crystal Shawanda, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate this. And for the folks at home, we told you the whole story. Now, here is what you do. So, first off, follow her on Instagram. It's Crystal Shawanda, one word. Of course,
Yeah.
follow her on Spotify. Check out the music. Tune to the JUNO Awards. Check it out. You might just see her up on stage accepting that award for the Blues Act category. And Crystal, thank you once again, and certainly looking forward to the next conversation.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So great chatting with you today.
Likewise, thank you. And for the folks at home, for the listeners, for the viewers, thank you once again for checking out Citywide Bytes. I'm your host, Max Bowen, and I'll see you all next time.